Well, good afternoon. I am so happy that I'm able to join with you. If you have attended a webinar in the past, you most likely have heard someone else's voice. My name is Jeff Marquis, and I am with Data Paradigm, and I am the Senior Project Coordinator for the TSAMM project. And along with me today is Eduardo, and Eduardo is going to be answering all of your questions or a lot of your questions as you go along. We are going to be giving you a lot of information. We are going to be giving this to you. And we want you to be able to answer or ask questions as we go through. And so as something comes up, if you want clarification on something, so please go ahead and put that in the question section of the GoToWebinar, and Eduardo will answer that, and I will also answer questions at the end as well. So we're going to jump straight in. The first thing we're going to do is we want to show you just about a 6.5 minute video that we have that gives you a broad overview. This is something that is brand new to the Angel Tree module, and so we want to give you a really good overview before we dive into some of the minutia that we're going to get with this program. So I'll give your attention, and this video is just about 6.5 minutes long. TSAMM's Angel Tree module revolutionized the way Salvation Army commands manage their Angel Tree program. To aid commands dealing with COVID and the need for social distancing, the online contactless Angel Tree application was born, both streamlining the intake process while also limiting unnecessary person-to-person interaction. 2022 brings the newest addition to the Angel Tree module, the Sorting and Distribution Management Toolkit. This collection of new features gives Angel Tree administrators the ability to track an angel's gifts from the point it is returned by a donor to the point it's given to the family on distribution day. The Sorting and Distribution Management Toolkit introduces 3 new components into TSAMM Angel Tree. First, we've added 2 new sets of statuses, which we are calling sorting statuses and distribution statuses. These allow for better tracking of your gifts and families prior to and during distribution. Next, the distribution site Checkpoint web app gives staff and volunteers the ability to track your gifts and families from anywhere, whether on a mobile device, tablet, laptop, or any other device with a web browser. Lastly, we've added the distribution dashboard, your information hub on distribution day. Administrators play the role of Angel Tree Air Traffic Controller, tracking families at the point of check-in through to receiving their gifts, assigning gift pullers, and more. No 2 sorting or distribution processes are identical, even within one campaign. Therefore, we've made the process customizable from a new campaign settings tab labeled Distribution Management. Angel Tree administrators configure distribution sites differently whether you have one distribution site or more than you can ask for. Let's take a look at this new toolkit, starting with sorting. The sorting of gifts, angel bags, and family boxes is a massive undertaking whether you have 1,000 angels or 30,000 angels. The sorting or gift tracking component of the toolkit covers all checkpoints during the days and weeks prior to distribution day. To assist with this process, we've added a new set of statuses we are calling sorting statuses. Some of these include gift returned, received at warehouse, quality control, ready for distribution, and more, all of which are customizable to fit your situation. Want to keep it simple? Only use 2 or 3 of the statuses. Change your mind, come back and add new statuses as needed. Our new Configure Checkpoints tool allows you to associate sorting statuses to real-world checkpoint locations at each of your distribution sites. Some examples of checkpoint locations might be warehouse, loading dock, core gym, or any other specific place you wish to specify. Here you also set the sequence or order in which the gift should progress. Distribution Day is probably the busiest and arguably the most important day of your entire Angel Tree season. For this reason, we created new distribution statuses which allow you to track families from the time they are checked in through to when they are updated as distributed. Some of these statuses include checked in, ready to pull gifts, gifts pulled, and distributed. Because you can specify different statuses for each distribution site at your command, you choose which statuses fit each of your sites. Our new Configure Checkpoints tool allows you to associate distribution statuses to real-world checkpoint locations at each of your distribution sites. Some examples of checkpoint locations might be parking lot entrance, loading dock, or core gym. You will then set the order in which families should progress and have the ability to enable additional options associated with the checkpoint. Lastly, you have the optional ability to require a family representative to provide a digital signature to confirm the receipt of gifts if desired. Your last distribution status will always be distributed. Updating a family to distributed updates both the applicant records and all their associated angels. There will be no need to go in after the fact to update your records. The Toolkit does it for you. This new toolkit brings new exclusive features to radically increase speed, efficiency, and accuracy in the sorting and distribution process. With the introduction of checkpoints, users at these different areas of your distribution sites have the option of using barcode scanners that can easily connect to any device via a Bluetooth connection to increase both accuracy and productivity. At each checkpoint, the user has the ability to add notes to a gift or a family. This allows the user to signal any information that will be beneficial to know ahead of time to the rest of the sorting or distribution teams. Perhaps the applicant only speaks Spanish? This will allow the team to assign a Spanish-speaking volunteer to this applicant. The uses are limitless for this feature. All of your Angel Tree helpers will be able to access the web app that is created for each distribution site. Each Angel Tree helper will log in with their first and last name. Once they are logged in, they have the ability to perform each of the necessary checkpoints from the convenience of a mobile device or other networked device like a laptop, iPad, or tablet. The distribution dashboard allows for easy tracking of the applicants on distribution day. This will allow for volunteers and staff to see a visual representation of both how many people are in a given checkpoint as well as how long they have been waiting. After the season, this information is available to be analyzed to see where bottlenecks occur and how that can be mitigated for future Angel Tree campaigns. The Sorting and Distribution Management Toolkit is a customizable set of features that will enhance your command's ability to track and manage your Angel Tree sorting and distribution. Contact the TSAMM team with any questions about how we can continue to partner together.
Well, as you can see, there's going to be a lot that we're going to try to cover here in the next just 50 minutes or so. And so I'm going to move fairly quickly as I can, but I think it's very important right from the very beginning that we go over a few maybe new terms that we might be utilizing. Now, this is going to be important that we agree on what we're calling these different things because we recognize that across the United States, these various things might be called something different. They could be called intake or processing or sorting. But as we move forward, we're going to want to be unified in our understanding. The first of which is what we're calling sorting. And this is the processing of an angel gifts prior to distribution day. Now, we realize that many of you are probably already in the middle of this and having your angels come in. But what this is going to be able to do is help us to understand and track these items. Think of it this way. When you order something from FedEx or UPS, you get a notification and you know when it's at the warehouse, you know when it's been moved from point to point to point so that you have a better understanding of when to expect your package. In many ways, this is going to do the same thing within sorting. You're able to see where the gift is. Has it been returned? Does it need attention? And then all the way to what our goal is, and that is to mark this angel as ready for distribution. And that leads us straight into what we're calling distribution. This is probably a bit more of a universal term across the Angel Tree world, but we are calling this distribution, which is the process through which fulfilled angel tree gifts are given to their respective families, right? This is in many cases happens over one long, very taxing day, and many of the locations happen over multiple days, maybe multiple sites over the span of a week. And so you're going to be able to, as we go through and talk about distribution sites and distribution statuses, this is what this is speaking to. And lastly is checkpoints. This is, as we talked about with the UPS example, this is as it transitions along the way. This is the point at which a status changes for either the gift during a sorting or the family on distribution day. And so we're going to jump straight into our administrative side. And so as we do this, we'll jump in, and this is what you would see when you first come on. And so the very first thing that I want to show you is maybe what I think could be one of the coolest aspects of this sorting and distribution toolkit. And that is what we're calling a dashboard. Many of us, I live in Texas. I am not a native Southerner, but when I got to the South, I got the privilege of enjoying Chick-fil-A for the first time, and they are very good. But one of the best things about Chick-fil-A is you can see a board that helps you to understand kind of where you are in the queue. You can see that I am order number 657, and it's something that I get to be able to see as we transition through how long I've been waiting, how many people in front of me are still waiting their food. And so here we have dashboards. And the first thing we're going to show you is a sorting dashboard. Now, remember, sorting speaks to the actions that take place prior to distribution day. And so what we have here is we have a list of angel numbers, angel IDs. And this is going to go through angels enter into this state when they have been first received a sorting status. And we're going to get a bit more into that in a little bit. But what you're able to see on this page is both the angel and the family code, their name, what distribution site they are associated with, and I'll jump back to what these icons here in a second. We have what their anticipated appointment time is, what their sorting status is, who updated that to gift return. So we know that John Richardson updated, he's the one who checked in this gift, and it was checked in 4 hours and 36 minutes ago. And so we are able to see this, and then you also have a notes section, which I'll address here shortly. But this dashboard is going to be able to first get a glance of all the things that you are seeing. And these icons that you have here, these are going to be links to the Checkpoint web app. And this is what we'll get into in shortly. But one of the main ones I want to show you is this QR code. Because one thing that's very unique to this program as it relates to how your helpers maybe normally interact with the Angel Tree module. Normally, when you have a volunteer, when you want someone to be able to help on this side of Angel Tree, you have to be either a TSAMM user or you have to be a local user. Because these individuals will have very limited access to the information, it is something that you only need to have a first and last name and hopefully a picture. So you don't have this happen with a little gray head and they're uploading a picture, which we'll see here shortly. But this is where you can take this QR code, and I'll click here, it gives you a link. And this is something that you can print and post around your warehouse so that you, as the Angel Tree administrator, is not being bombarded with, oh, can you send me that link again? Can you send me that link again? These past 2.5 years have gotten us very comfortable with scanning these QR codes as a way of being able to navigate to a web page. And so that is something that's going to be beneficial for you, and that's going to be in a couple spaces. The other dashboard is the distribution dashboard. Your distribution dashboard is going to look very similar, except for this is not going to be during the sorting status. This is during the distribution status. And this is when families come to pick up their angels. And so here we can see that Sandy Reno and Bilbo Baggins have arrived to pick up their gifts. They're both in their gifts pulled section. Now I set these up a little bit ago, but you'll be able to also see how long they've been waiting. So you can see well, Jessica here has been waiting 54 minutes to get her gifts. If you see this on distribution day, chances are you're going to want to go talk to Eduardo here and try to find out what it was that was going on to be able to find out where he's at. And we'll talk about this gift puller component a little bit later. So these are the dashboards, and so this is something that we want to give you an overview. But next, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into what it means to configure your distribution management. Now, this is going to be someone who has the can manage Angel Tree permissions. So in most cases, this is going to be the officer, but it also could be an assigned employee or a local user that you've given the permission to can manage Angel Tree. And they get to that by going into their campaign settings, which is under admin and then campaign. So now I am an Angel Tree administrator. I have full access to setting these components up. And so you're going to find this, as we saw in the video, under the distribution management section. Now, when you open this distribution management section, you're going to see a few components. Your first set of tabs is going to be your distribution site. So for this, in this world, for this Panama City core, they have 3 distribution sites. Christmas Distribution Warehouse, Panama City Core, and William Booth Senior Center. Now, this is important because without a doubt, the distribution process is going to look different at each one of these areas. And what we don't want is for you to have to, on the back end, try to navigate and put all things into maybe what could be best be described for all your distribution sites. This is something that is fully customizable for each one of your distribution sites. Now, once you select the distribution site, you come underneath and you have to select an activity. So you have sorting and gift tracking. Again, this is all the activities that happen prior to distribution day, and then your actual distribution day process. Now, I've already set this one up, but we'll walk through this with another one of our distribution sites. You'll have the distribution statuses that you can select from, and this is a predetermined list. But the great thing is you get to determine what these lists entail. There's different lists for sorting, tracking, and distribution tracking. And you get to explain, you get to set what received at warehouse means. You get to set what quality control means. So quality control 1 for you might simply mean, are all of the gifts unwrapped, right? So we all get gifts back returned, wrapped, and we know that we don't want that to happen in most cases. And so quality control 1 means gifts are unwrapped. Quality control 2 may mean something different as we go along and see these items. And then once we've selected our checkpoints, we'll be able to configure the order, because so not only you're selecting your statuses, but you're selecting the order in which you anticipate them appearing. And then at the very bottom of our page, we have links again to that QR code we talked about before and the distribution web app that we we'll look at here very shortly. But first, what we're going to do is we are going to set up the Panama City Core distribution settings. Now, right off the bat, one of the questions that came up in the last webinar was, do I have to set up both activities? Do I have to set up sorting and distribution? You can use as little or as much of this toolkit as you would. I have been gifted a toolkit in my life, and there are tools in that toolkit that I have never touched, but there are some that I know I'm going to use all the time. And so this is the same idea. We want you to be able to utilize what is best. And so you might not want to use sorting at all this year and are only going to set up distribution, or vice versa. You can do this. You could also set up, I'm going to do sorting, gift tracking, but all I want to do is mark it as ready for distribution. That's fine too. There is no minimum or maximum number of statuses except for the final one, and I'll get into that it's a little bit of a teaser for what we're going to see here in a second. So first, we're setting this up, and I want to set my intake, my sorting statuses. And so I want there to be gift returned, received at warehouse, and needs attention. These are the 3 statuses that I want to do. Now, you'll note here that for ready for distribution, there's a green check mark. This is not something that you can uncheck, and that is because it means something to other parts of the module, especially when we get to the distribution side, because it's going to update your item as in the other elements of the module. And so once you've selected your sorting statuses, again, I am the Angel Tree administrator. I can manage Angel Tree. I've set my statuses. This is going to be a key thing. We want to save our changes. Anytime you make a change within this, we want to be able to save our changes here. Now we come down and we can see here that all of those checkpoints that we've added are here. Once I've done that, I'm going to configure my checkpoints. Now, this is where some of your creativity can really come out, because not only you're setting the checkpoint status, but you're going to set the location. And this can get as granular as you want it to be. And so we can set this to be the lobby, pretty simple. But let's say we want the needs attention is going to go to the toy shop, which is located at the old core building on 7th Street. So I can put this as toy shop / old core building on old core on 7th Street. Like, you can get as specific as you want. This is fully customizable that you get to set what that means. Received at warehouse is going to be the warehouse floor. And then our distribution is set to the warehouse. And so we've set the locations, and now we want to set what we would anticipate would be the natural progress of an angel gift. And so this is what we would say maybe is what is most anticipated, but your situation might be unique. And so in order to do that, all you do is grab this and move it around. Maybe you want to say, and the way you define it, received at warehouse doesn't mean that it's been returned, right? Because there might be other variables. Maybe it's gone to the wrong warehouse. You don't want it to be deemed gift returned, so you're going to move it around. Well, actually, I want the needs attention to come up in front of gift returned, because I want them to assess whether or not it's going to be processed before it becomes returned. And maybe a little bit later you say, I'm going to change it. And so you come back and you can really move these around as much as you see fit. Once you've gotten into a place that you're settled at, you're just going to click save, at which point your checkpoints are saved. And now as you look down here under configure checkpoints, it's all ready to go. Now let's jump over to our distribution day family tracking, because here it's going to add just 1 or 2 more additional features. And this is, you don't have as many statuses here as you do on the sorting component, but again, you get to define what these mean. And so I'm going, for our purposes here, I'll say on this setting, we're going to do checked in, and we're going to say ready to pull gifts and needs attention are the 4 statuses that we want to do. So first, right off the bat, I'm going to save my changes because I've changed something. And then I'm going to come down and configure my checkpoints. Now you'll notice that on this configuration, you have additional options. And so first off, before we get into that, we're going to check in the front parking lot. And then ready to pull gifts is going to be the back left corner of warehouse. This is what I mean. You can get as specific as you want. Needs attention is the toy shop, run toy shop, see Jeff, because that's who you want to see every time you go to this toy shop. You can communicate information that way. And then the distributed is going to be at the loading dock, because that's where we have them drive around to after they've been processed. So now let's jump into our additional options. So here there are 2 settings that have a potential for additional options. Let me stress that these are optional. You don't have to utilize any of these, but you can if you think it's beneficial. The first 2 additional options have to do with what time they are arriving. We've all had situations in which someone came early for their appointment. Maybe they came an hour or 2 early. Maybe they came a day or 2 early. But you want to be able to let the person checking them in know that, hey, they're outside what we would anticipate to be their parameters. And so I definitely don't want them to come on a different day. And they can come, but I don't want them to come any sooner than 30 minutes before their appointment time. And so now if it is within either one of those parameters, it's going to show them that information on our checkpoint web app, which we will get to, I promise, here shortly. But the important thing to understand about these status here associated with checked in is just because you mark these options, it does not mean that they cannot progress through the order. You may be well ahead, and so what was initially thought to be a 30-minute window now might be, listen, we don't care what time they show up, as long as it's on the same day, go ahead and allow them through. That is information that you can do, and even in the process of distribution, you can come back into this if you have can manage settings and turn off that warning. But either way, these are simply warnings. They are not going to prevent you from moving forward. However, this option down here is different. This gives you the option to have the family representative sign to confirm that they have received their gifts. I would say the majority of our angel tree operations across the United States have some form of confirmation, most of them being a signature. They want the family to sign that they received their gift, and that is because, unfortunately, sometimes people try to play the system to get more gifts. So we want to be able to have a confirmation, but if you have even a couple hundred applicants that you're trying to process through, keeping track of that 250, 300 pieces of paper that they have signed on, in the stress that is distribution day might be challenging. And so I want to do this in a digital fashion. I don't want to have to worry about any pieces of paper. And so I'm going to click this box. Once you click this box, please know that they cannot proceed to confirm distribution until they sign. Now, if the applicant refuses to sign, that is up to you on how you want to handle that. But something needs to be submitted within the system to allow them to proceed. So we've set this up, and we click our save. Now we can scroll down and we can see the confirmations that the front parking lot, the toy shop. Be sure to see Jeff because he's the one who's going to tell you where to shop and what's available, etc., as well as the additional options here. At this point, you have configured everything that you need to for distribution management. You can come back in and change anything. Maybe you realized after a couple days that it's probably going to be best if we get rid of this needs attention. We're not using it. It's creating confusion. We just want to get rid of it. Simply come back, uncheck that, and again, we changed something, so make sure you click Save Changes. Now we're going to be using our Christmas distribution warehouse, and this is what we set up. These are the parameters that we put as we configure. And so now we are going to jump into what we call the Distribution Sites Checkpoint web app. Now this is what your helpers and volunteers and your employees would utilize to be able to get there. This is what they would navigate through this by copying this link or this QR code. But once they do so, they are going to get to something. Oh, excuse me, I apologize. You're going to get to something that looks like this. Now, this is what they would come to right off the bat. And here, this is where they are going to log in. Again, their login is simply going to be their first and last name, but this is where you are going to be able to input your information so that you can be able to proceed to process your sorting or to process families on distribution day. Now, just a couple things here that before we move on. Let's say it's busy and your friend as a helper, I am here helping. And my friend showed up 30 minutes late, and I need to be able to give them access to this. Instead of sending them in to get it, up in the menu, I can come down and populate this QR code. So you can either have them scan it on your phone, or they can copy and you can do the old-fashioned texting them the link so that they can access this information. So here we've come through. I'm going to put in my name because I am a helper. I am here to help. Next, you have the ability to add a photo. Now, this is going to be happening on most likely a mobile device. And so when you do so, you can take a good old-fashioned selfie to update that. But I can't do this on my computer, so I'm going to upload this picture. I'll click it, and so now I have my photo updated with my first and last name, and I am ready to proceed. And so I've gotten my instructions from the helper. I am the Angel Tree helper. I've been given instructions. I'm going to be sorting. So I just simply click Track Angel Gift Status. We do give some explanations in the event that maybe they didn't fully understand where they needed to go, but if they know that they're there to sort and track gifts, even possibly prior to distribution day, I'm going to click gift tracking. And now I'm going to come on to here. And this is where the majority of your work's going to happen as you process these angels through. The first thing that I'm going to want to do as an angel tree helper is find out which checkpoint have I been assigned to. What am I doing? And this is because this is going to log what has taken place later on in the history, and we'll see that here in a minute. So I know that these are my options. We have in parentheses here, just a reminder what's happening at each one of those sites. So I know that I am in the lobby, and so I am a part of the gift returned status. And so I'm going to make sure that was already selected, but I'm going to select that there. And next, we're going to come down here and enter in an angel code. And this is where I want to pause for a brief moment to discuss barcode scanners. These are those things that you see at self-checkouts. We've all become very good at these when we go to Walmart or our local grocery store. My son very much enjoys to handle that job. But one thing that you're able to do now, as we've had before, is you can scan in an angel code. This is going to aid with speed and accuracy as you're processing through. Potentially, you might be having a truckload of gifts, a van load of gifts that have come in, and you want your helper to be able to process through this as fast as possible. You can do that with a fairly inexpensive barcode scanner that can be purchased from Amazon. And one of your handouts on this webinar gives you an explanation of what's needed, as well as a few helpful links to Amazon to be able to purchase these. They are Bluetooth. They can be connected to any device with a Bluetooth setting, and when it does, you can scan those angels as they come in to be able to help you process through these, which is going to be very beneficial. So here I am a volunteer. I am Jeff. I'm here to return a gift, and so I'm going to enter in my angel code. So I will say, because I'm typing it because I have not been one of the fortunate ones to get a barcode. And so I'm going to enter in my family code, which is 5011, and this is Angel B. And so I'm going to open this up. And what this gives me is probably more information than I need as an angel tree helper, but it's something that may be helpful to someone along the way, so we wanted to include it. It's going to give me their name, their age, their need, the things that you would see on an angel tag. It's going to tell me what their appointment time is, in case I might need this, but someone might have a desire to see that. Moving down the list, you'll have the ability to mark an oversized gift. So Ashley has been fortunate enough to receive a bike. And so I'm going to click this box, and I'm going to put in bike, and I'll save my changes. And then I come back and say, well, there's a lot of bikes, so I want to help them know which it is. And so she got a blue bike. So I'll come back, put my changes in as we go through, and it's something that's available for them. Now, while she got a bike, excuse me, while she got a bike, she didn't get any clothing. She got a bike and a doll, but nothing else. And so I want to add some notes to this as well. So I'll come down to notes, and I will say needs clothing, and I'll save those changes. And both the notes and the oversized gift information is going to stay with this angel as she progresses through the process. So I've continued on, I've gone down, I'll click gift returned, and now Ashley is marked as gift returned. Now, very quickly, but I want to show you what's happened here, is back on our sorting dashboard that we had, we can see that Ashley here right at the very top has now been updated as gift returned by Jeff Marquis, has returned 11 seconds ago, very prompt, and they need clothing. This is a central space that you can go to be able to see these items be processed as they go along. All right, so now I'm back. I still have more responsibilities, and so now I've come in and I've got another angel here, and this is WBS3A. Now, I'm sure on this call are angel tree savants. You know everything there is to know about angel tree, and right off the bat, you can say, well, this is a different code, so it's probably not the right space. But me, as the volunteer from the local high school, I'm not going to know that, but I need to be able to, I want them to get a warning. So here, when I scan this one in, I'm going to get this big red box that, and it's going to say right off the bat that warning, this angel has a different distribution site. And as much as we aim to have this not happen at all, unfortunately, the reality is this happens. And so it's going to warn them, and it's going to highlight what senior center they have been at. What they do with this information is going to be driven by the Angel Tree administrators at each distribution site. You might want them to process it as normal, check it in as gift returned, that's fine. You might say, if you ever see a red box, make sure you put it in the proper area for each one. You know, we know that in this setting, we had the Panama City Core and the William Booth Senior Center. So maybe you've designated spots at your Christmas distribution warehouse for all of the William Booth Center gifts and all of the Panama City Core gifts. And so you're going to go and put those in that information. So it's really up to you what this looks like as we go through. Okay, and so I am going to continue on. I've been told I don't want to do anything with this. If that's the case, I'm going to come back up and I'm going to begin processing gifts further. Now, I want you to imagine that I am someone different. So I will have come in and rather than being Jeff Marquis, you can log out here to go back to the main page. And now I'm going to be John Stevens. And John is having a bad hair day, so he does not want to upload a photo. That's up his prerogative if he would like to do that. And now I'm back to gift tracking. So now I as John Stevens helper, I am not assigned to the lobby. I have been assigned to the warehouse floor to mark items to be received at warehouse. And so I'm going to do the same thing we did before, and I'm going to update an angel. And so now I have Jimmy, who's 4 years old, wants a blanket and cars. There's no additional information. There's nothing for Jimmy to add at this point. So instead, I'm going to come down here as I'm Jimmy, and all I'm doing is marking it as received at warehouse. But what I can do, if I so choose, I can click on the history, and I can see that this was marked by John Potter as returned at this date, on this time, at Christmas distribution warehouse, at the checkpoint lobby. It will give you all this information as we go along. Now, maybe John Stevens doesn't care about that information. I'm just here to mark it received. I click received, I move on. Now I move on to my next gift. I'm still John, I'm still helper, and I'm going to go into a different family, a different angel. This is one that we checked in to begin with. And so here we can see this is Ashley again. Ashley, this oversized gift information, has a blue bike, that they need clothing. And because I, as the volunteer, it's been received, but because they need something, I want to mark them as a different status. And so I have the ability to come down, see my other options, and I'm going to mark this as needs attention. Now, you're going to assess your helpers and your volunteers and your employees to see to what level you want them to do these things. But let's say John Stevens is really good and knows that if something is not good, he needs to do these actions to mark it in needs attention. So I'm going to go in as needs attention, and it's been updated. Now, I'm not going to go back out again, but I want you to imagine that I am another helper. I am Eduardo. Eduardo is here helping. And he has been assigned to get things ready for distribution, or he's been assigned to all the things that need assignment. So I'm going to go back to the same one. And here's Ashley again. Now I am Eduardo, a different helper. And I can see here that I am taking all the ones that needs attention. Now I do want to stress that even though John Stevens was having a bad hair day, it is going to be very helpful in the future that they upload their picture, and I'm going to show you why, especially on distribution day. And so coming down, I know in the notes that without even looking at the bag that Ashley needs clothing. I know that she's a medium and her shoe size is a 6. She's a junior female. So I'm going to come through. I'm going to do give her what she needs, and I'm going to update these notes because she no longer needs clothing. Now, clothing provided. And I'm going to save my changes, and I'm going to come down. And I'm going to mark it as quality control 1 passed because only a few people are able to mark it as ready for distribution. And you're going to process through this for each one of your angels. Again, you're probably going to hear me say this many times, but the amount of information that you want your volunteers and helpers to do is up to you. You very well might only want to use checked in and ready for distribution statuses. If that's the case, that's fine. And so I'm going to come in and I'm going to select Ashley again, and I'm going to mark it as ready for distribution. Now, when I mark something in those final statuses, whether it's ready for distribution or on distributed, as we will see in the distribution side, it's going to give you a warning because once something is placed in one of these 2 statuses, to revert back is going to be an action of an administrator. It's going to happen within the TSAMM module itself. Your angel tree helpers and volunteers, unless they have those permissions, are not going to be able to perform this task. So because of that, we give you a confirmation, just an are you sure? Are you sure you want to proceed? Yes, I'm sure. It's been marked as okay. And now Ashley has been updated as ready for distribution. So that is your sorting process. And at any point, you can go back to your sorting dashboard here and see where we are. Here we can refresh this. You have a hard refresh here. In the corner, you can also refresh your browser at the top on this page. Unlike the distribution dashboard, this one does not update on an automatic basis. It does not refresh automatically. It is one that you have to manually refresh, and that's because these items might be in here ready to go. And so you can see here, Ashley, the one we just processed, has been marked as ready for distribution. We can see that we had to give her clothing so that she was interested and able to do so. Now, before we go on to distribution, I want to show you just one more thing about this sorting dashboard, and that is coming soon is going to be a statistics page, which is going to give you the exact information, how many are in each status. But to do that as well, you can go into your filter. Now, this is going to default to all of your distribution sites. Now, many of us only have one, so that's okay. But this one has distribution. We can see that Panama City core is in here with distribution warehouse. But I only want to see the distribution warehouse, and I only want to see those gifts that are marked as ready for distribution. So I'll click refresh. And now I am seeing that at the Christmas distribution warehouse, I have 5 gifts. I have 5 records that are 5 angels that are ready for distribution. And I'm sure for you, coming in the next week or so, that we want that number to be significantly higher. But here you can see that. And at any point, you can go in and do exactly the same thing and be able to mark which ones have been returned, but nothing else has been gone. That might help you understand how many volunteers do I need to bring in. If you are 2 days out from distribution and you go in and see that, oh, I still have, excuse me, I still have 200 gifts that are just marked as gift returns, we need to get a few more volunteers in to be able to process through these. And so we jump in, and this is what you can do with your sorting dashboard. Now we want to jump into the distribution side. And we'll go in this time. I'm going to go in as myself again. And again, on a browser, you would simply pick this up. So I'm going to upload a photo. On a phone, you would do this just by taking a picture. And so I have my photo there, and I am on family tracking. You're finally made it to distribution day. So the process is largely the same. I am going to select which one I want to do. I am checking people in. I'm going to scan my barcode, and everything is good. Now on this page, it's going to give me a little bit of information. Again, every individual isn't going to use all of this information, but it's available to those that could utilize it. We can see that it's green, meaning that they are within their parameters of their distribution time. Jimmy, we can see also here in yellow that Ashley has a blue bike, so we can see this information. Everything is good. I'm going to check them in. Everything is good. Crystal has been checked in. Now, if we proceed to the next individual, I'm a helper at the front handling the check-in. If I bring this individual up, I'm now getting a big red box because warning must be within the same day of the scheduled appointment. Now, what I can see here right off the bat is their distribution time. We can see that it's November 29th, but this person is not supposed to be here until December 1st. They're a full 2 days early. And so at this point, you would have given your helper, volunteer, or your employee what you want them to do with this information. And even if it's just, I want you to ask me to come over and I'll talk with them, you get to dictate what they do with this information. They're going to move through. And I'm going to be able to see that it's, I'm going to have to tell them, listen, I'm sorry, you're going to have to come back at your appointment time on the 1st. Hopefully that goes smoothly, and then your volunteer is able to continue on. Now, moving forward in our distribution process, I am going to say I am in the next step. Now, I am a different helper. I haven't gone out to re-up, but I would be in a different setting. You'd see a different picture. And I'm going to process this same angel that we processed before, this family. Crystal, we can see that Crystal S is here. And her current status is checked in. I can look at the history and see that she was checked in at this time. On my distribution dashboard, which I'll hop over to just really quick, I can see that Crystal here, Crystal Smith, has been checked in. She's been waiting 1 minute and 45 seconds. We are being very efficient. And so this page, our distribution page, is going to update every 30 seconds. Ideally, we want this to be the Chick-fil-A board. So if you have the ability to project or put on a TV screen, you can see this information displayed, and you can be able to see, well, Sandy Reno has been waiting for her gifts to be pulled for 4 hours. Well, they would never get that long, but maybe it says 25 minutes, and they should have been through this process by now. So I'm going to do a little bit of research. Either she's still out there waiting, which we don't want to happen, or someone forgot to do something, which we also don't want to happen. And so I'm going to come through, and they've been checked in. So everything's moving forward, but my job when they get to the ready to pull, I'm back. Now I am the Angel Tree helper outside, receiving them, going to mark them as ready to pull gifts. Now, Crystal, I've been asked to include 2 bits of information. I want to tell them what type of car they're driving and which lane. Let's say as a part of your distribution process, you have lanes or parking spots to be able to dictate. And so I'm going to say they're in a red Camry and they are in lane 2. So I've been asked to input that information. I save it, and now this information is ready to go. I come down, I click they are ready to pull gifts. Everything is great. Now, so I've been jumping around a little bit, but this is I'm being different people. So now I'm the Angel Tree traffic cop. I'm sitting at my dashboard, and I get a notification because it refreshes every 30 seconds that Crystal is now ready to pull gifts. Now, this is where one of the great features that we like is you have the ability to assign a gift puller. I've been a part of many Angel Tree distributions, and more often than not, what you have is someone standing there telling volunteers, you go grab 507, you go grab 612. And you might say to yourself, oh, did I tell someone to grab 612? So just to be safe, you tell someone else. And then they're coming back and they're saying, well, I didn't, the bag wasn't there, what should I do? And so to help solve some of this confusion, we have the ability to assign a gift puller. So the Angel Tree traffic cop is going to simply click, and they're going to be able to choose from a drop-down list of who they want to perform this action. So here I want Jacob Smith to do it. I'm going to assign it, and so now it's come up. This is where we really want them to put their picture in, because Jacob Smith is here, but I'm not sure who it is. But I know up here, as I look in and I zoom in, I can see that Eduardo is they're ready to go. So Eduardo's been assigned to pull gifts, and Eduardo is bringing the gifts back to a different angel tree helper. Now this angel tree helper is not there, they're at the gifts pulled component. And so I am a different angel tree helper. I am Greg, and I am there, and the role of the gift puller is to bring the gifts to me. When they get to me, I check them in that they have been received. When I open up this information, I can see that I am in here, but also I can see the notes that it's a red Camry and that it's in lane 2. So I'm going to mark it as ready to pull, and I am going to walk these gifts out to our recipient. It's been updated. The dashboard has been updated as well. Now it's been marked as gift pulled, and it's updated by Jeff Marquis. We know that Jeff is the one that is bringing the gifts out to the car, out to the angel, the family recipient. Once I get out there, same thing, I'll scan one more time to pull up the information. And here I am going to mark these as distributed. I've very quickly found the car because I knew it was a red Camry and I knew it was in lane 2. So as the angel tree helper bringing the gifts out, I'm going to mark it as distributed. So I'm going to click this button down here. Now, if you remember in our settings, we set it up to where we want them to sign to receive their gifts. Now, intentionally, you'll see that that green box is gone. That is because as much as we benefit from having that information, we don't think that the angel tree recipient needs to see all of that information. And so it disappears, and all they have is the ability to sign a box. They can see that they are receiving 2 gifts, Ashley, who's a female age 12, and Jimmy, a male age 4. And so they confirm, yes, I did receive those bags. So they click, they sign. For Crystal, I apply my signature. And so now it's logged the date, the time. We know it's happened at 3:52 Central Time. We can see the IP address of where it was signed in case if anyone does come back. You do have the ability to clear the signature and re-sign if that should be necessary. But we're happy with our signature. Crystal is happy with her gifts. I'm going to confirm distribution. So I'll click confirm. Again, this is our last state. And so this is the important thing here as we go through. As I am confirming, yes, I definitely want to do this. I click OK. And now Crystal has been updated to distributed. Now, the very last thing here before I answer questions is a really cool part, because Angel Tree in the past, at the end of Angel Tree distribution, you had to go back into the module and update your angels to be distributed. This is where you can log it, you can find out information. Now, if you utilize, even if at your distribution you didn't utilize any of the sorting statuses yet, if you only utilize distributed, it will update it across the Angel Tree module. So Crystal here, just remember CW5001, Crystal has been marked as distributed. So I can do 2 things. I can go in to my filter on my distribution dashboard, and I can set to look at everyone who's been distributed at the William Booth Center, not the William Booth Senior Center, at the Christmas Distribution Warehouse. And I can see that we have distributed these 8 families, how long ago it happened, and here's the most recent one, Crystal. But it's not even just there that we can do it, that we can see it, but also if we go to the applicant records as the Angel Tree administrator, and I search for Crystal, you'll be able to see here that not only Crystal's here, but her status has been marked as distributed. And so right off the bat, there's no longer the need to go back into the Angel Tree module to update these items to be distributed. We are really excited about this feature, and we think that it's really going to be beneficial to your distribution and sorting processes. I'm going to have a chance here to answer some questions. I know Eduardo's been answering questions as you've had them, and we've got a couple here. The first question, as we jump in, any device would need Wi-Fi or data connections, correct? Yes, that is the one thing that is required. If you're utilizing any mobile device or even a hardwired desktop, if you have that, a tablet, um, a phone, they're going to need access to Wi-Fi and or data. So while they do need that because they need to be able to navigate through the navigate to the website, because that's how this is based. I do want to stress two things. Some questions we've received is, well, how do I know if I'm going to have enough signal strength to be able to perform this action? Because distribution warehouses are notorious for having poor Wi-Fi and or data. And so as you go through to identify where this is possible, all you need to do is take your mobile device, take your phone, open up Google and perform a search. Maybe you want to search dinner that evening. So it's not a wasted time. If your Google search is pulling back information in a timely manner, you have enough data to perform the action where you are. So you can set this up and be able to see these different things as we go through. But you do need to be able to have a Wi-Fi or data connection um, in order to be able to handle this information. There's also the ability as you go through to test the speed, but really what's important here is if you can search on Google, you have enough data to be able to perform this function. You do not need, they do not need to be Salvation Army uh, devices. One of the questions we've had in the past was, is this going to mean I have to buy many devices, many barcode scanners? This is designed to be used with the individual's personal device. When I go on and I scan this QR code on the wall, I am using my personal cell phone to be able to handle this. I know this, it's comfortable, it fits in my hand perfectly. I know it's what I want to use, and it's going to bring you to this page. And once you bring to this page, you can navigate through this um, as needed. And so you don't need to have this as a personal device. You can have a shared device, and that's where our logout feature, it is going to track. If I have my phone and I'm set to volunteer, and I'm set to volunteer all week, I'll put this information in, but then once I've put this information in, I don't have to put it the next time. The cookie is going to be able to keep that there ready to go. I'm going to be able to remember that information. If it's a shared device, if you have a tablet, it is something that it is that's shared. When you input your information, and I'm in, it's possible that I want to log out, and that's where this lock in the upper corner, when I click that, it will reset all the information on this main page. A question from Joe asked, at what time can I start sharing the web app link with my helpers? Once this is launched, you will be able to do that. You should look for this to be available tomorrow morning. You can go in, once it is live, you can immediately begin to share the QR code. Again, each QR code that you can share from this location here or from within your dashboards, or just kind of giving you all the options in your distribution campaign settings at the bottom. You can share this information with your helpers once it is live. As you can see, sometimes things take a long time to set up. This really didn't take all that long, only a few minutes for us to be able to set this up. And you don't have to set up all of it. If I just want to initially begin using the sorting function, I'm going to set that up, and then I'm going to meet with my team on Thursday to talk through exactly what we want distribution to look like. And so as the Angel Tree administrator, I only have to configure this first section, and then your helpers will be able to hit the ground running and move forward. I think this has really been a helpful time, and as we navigate through this, please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions on how best to build this. This is intentionally meant to be customizable, and so in many ways, if you can do it, we are going to support you and help you be able to make that happen. And so it's going to be beneficial for you to be able to look at this. Again, look for this tomorrow morning. In your Angel Tree module. Again, you will get to that underneath the admin section under campaigns in this tab all the way to the right. to be able to configure this. Just a few quick reminders. You'll need to configure each one of your distribution sites individually. You can name them whatever you want. They can be as specific. If you remember, we set this one, quality control happens in the classroom across from the nursery. So it can be as specific as it is to your situation. If you change your sorting statuses, make sure you save them to be able to configure them at the bottom. And your sorting and distribution dashboards are going to be your Chick-fil-A message boards to your staff and volunteers on distribution. I'm going to hang out here for a little bit. I've answered the questions that have come across, but I'll hang out for a little bit longer in the event that a question has come up. If something comes to your mind, an hour or a day from now, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Look for this video to be uploaded to our YouTube channel for future viewing. Let's say your Angel Tree administrator wasn't available, but you think it would be beneficial for them to watch this. So you can go back and share that with them. So look for this to be available in a very short fashion. And so we wish you the best during your Angel Tree season. I know these times are never easy, but know that we are here to help as best as we can. We wish you the best. God bless you. I'll hang out a little bit longer in case there's any questions, and we'll be able to answer that. All right, I did get one more question. If you hop off, if you don't have any questions, but if you want to hang out to see some of our questions. Dorinda asked, where will this be available? This is available within your TSAMM Angel Tree module. And so if you have configure, if you have can manage Angel Tree, when you go into your module, it'll look like this, most likely with many, many, many more angels than 37. And you will go over to admin, campaign, and this is where you'll configure. All the information that you need for distribution management can be found under the admin tab, under the campaign for configuration, and then distribution and sorting at the bottom. This will be available tomorrow morning for you to put it into play. And so we look forward to seeing and hearing the stories of you guys utilizing this tool and how it's been beneficial for your Angel Tree season. This video, oh, I'm sorry, Dorna, I probably answered a question you didn't ask. This video is going to be on our YouTube link. If you on YouTube, we will share this information with you with the webinar recipients so that you can gain access to this video. We will make sure that you have available, and that's also where you would have found many of our past videos. We have 4 different videos on configuring Angel Tree. We have many videos as it relates to other modules under the TSAMM umbrella that you can look at in case you ever have any questions. That's a really good first stop to be able to review. I think there's still some people hanging out, so I want to be able to be here to answer questions as they come through. I'll take this opportunity just to give one other quick reminder as we go through. Really encourage your volunteers and staff to upload that photo. As much as we like to think that we can remember everyone's name, undoubtedly you're going to get to distribution and you're going to have 40 volunteers that you've never seen before. And so being able to know who you can grab from that is going to be available. One additional feature that I want to share with you is it's not available yet, but you should look for this in the very near future, is the ability to self-claim. On a signed gift puller here, they can, right now you assign it as the Angel Tree traffic controller, but in the near future, you are going to be able to claim gifts that once it gets to be ready to pull, that I can claim that automatically. My face will automatically appear under the assigned gift puller tab, and that will be able to be take that load off of the Angel Tree administrator, your traffic controller, for that to be able to quickly grab that information as needed. I do want to give it just a few more moments in case there's any questions. Thank you to those of you who are still with us on this webinar. We're going to be signing off here shortly unless there's any more questions. And we wish you the best. Again, don't hesitate to reach out to TSAMM to support at dataparadigm.com with any additional questions that you may have about angel tree distribution and the sorting and distribution management toolkit. We wish you the best. We're going to end this webinar and look forward to hearing how things go. Thank you.